Hi, my name is Oswald Situk and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be walking you through how to configure a shared access signature. Administrators secure data using different strategies, and amongst these strategies we have encryption, authentication, authorization, and user access control. With shared access signatures, which is often called SAS, you're able to delegate granular access to the data objects in your Azure storage with a specified permission and also for a specific time interval, which you get to choose yourself. And shared access signatures basically is a uniform resource identifier that grants access to your storage resources without compromising your account keys. Now I'm going to jump to the portal and I'll show you what I mean by this. So here we are in my storage account in the Azure portal, and this storage account is called SAS Demo 123. And if you were given the access keys to this storage account, it's like saying you're given the keys to the kingdom. Like you have the absolute, complete, and unrestricted access to this account. So you could do just basically anything. And I'm going to, for this demonstration, I'm going to use a storage explorer to show you how this is. So I'm going to come to this down here to security and networking, then to access keys, and you can see the pair is coming up. You see the access key, the pair that we have here is key 1 and key 2. This is a primary and this is a secondary. And if you click on rotate, it will generate a new one. And that's not standard practice. In case you have other clients or apps linked to this, you have to do it carefully. You have to know when to do this. But I'm going to just copy this access key and show you how powerful this is. So I'm going to click on show and then I'm going to copy this access key. So I'm going to take this to the storage explorer and then I'll show you how this works. So here is our storage explorer. I'm going to just click on, I don't need to sign in because this will give me direct access to every storage account that I have in this subscription. I just want to attach a resource. So I'll click on attach a resource, and what I want to attach in this case is a storage account. So I'll click on storage account and you're given the options. You have connection string, which is a key or SAS, either is a key connection string, that's an access key connection string, or a SAS connection string. And then you have the second one, we have a shared access signature, that's a SAS URL, and we have the account name and key. So in this case, I'm going to use account name and key. I will click on next. Here we have display name, account name. I'm just going to focus on the account name, SAS Demo 123. And the display name is of no consequence. It's just what you want to use to remember, like just to know what you're looking at. You could rename it to anything. It doesn't affect anything. So I'm going to paste my key here and a public Azure instance. So I'll just click on next. And it's going to ask you, make sure you only connect to resources you trust, because you could have a malicious file in this storage account. So you have to be careful where you're connecting to. So I'll click on connect. And immediately you can see we have our storage account right here, SAS Demo 123. So if I click on down here, you have access to basically everything, the blobs, the file shares, the queues, and the tables in this storage account. You can go in here and you can just basically see we have containers like Egypt, London, Paris. Like we have files in here. I think we don't have anyone here in Egypt. Okay, so I'm going to upload a few files here. You can even go ahead and upload and delete anything you want to do. You can do basically anything. So I'm just going to come here and say maybe upload files. And then here, I can choose the files I want to upload. So I'll click on this and then this gives me Egypt. So I'm going to just select everything here and then click on open. And then you can go ahead and see the blob type and choose what blob type you want to use. I'm using block blobs. I'll leave everything else as it is. Target access tier. So for this, the default is fine, but I could go ahead and just choose any one I want to, but default is fine, which is what is linked to the storage account itself, which is hot tier. So I'll just leave it as default. And then I can go ahead and just upload, leaving everything as it is. I'm going to refresh. It's taking some time. That's happening in the background. So you can see it's transferring the files from my local device to the storage account. So now it's completed. You see we have those files right here. And because you have access keys, you can go ahead and delete anything you want. So for example, you just come here and say, I want to delete this thing here. I'll click on delete and ask me also to delete the snapshot. I won't bother about that. Just go ahead and click on delete. and you can see the process is happening. It's done, deleted, it's taken that out. So with the access keys, you can do just about anything. And that is not what you want. In times you want to give a client or a vendor an access to a particular thing to maybe write and read, and you want to only upload things and maybe you see what's available, not be able to delete. You can't do that with the access key, because it gives them absolute control and access to the storage account. So that's where we have shared access signatures. So shared access signatures is one way to give your client or whoever you want to give access with granular permissions in a time space. So you could say only in 1 week you're able to read the files here. You can see in 1 month, throughout the time period of a particular project, you can read the files in a particular storage account or a particular service, maybe blobs, maybe files. So I'm going to go back here and just show you. So we've seen how that works. I'm going to just show you how to do the same thing using a connection string. So I'm going to just click on show and I'll copy a connection string. Here in my Storage Explorer, I could just detach this storage account. So come here to actions and detach this completely. I don't want it to be here. I can go ahead. Okay, that's gone. I could go ahead and attach a resource again this time around. It's still a storage account, but I want to use my connection string. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on next and paste that string. So it basically brings all the metadata attached to this storage account. So it's already given you the name, because you see the storage string has the account name, the account key itself, and the endpoint, everything here. So you just go ahead and click on next and go ahead and connect. So you see the same thing. We have access to everything like before using the connection string. So it shows you even the logs, and so you can see Singapore. We have things in here, and you can also read. Click and open. It's bringing that up now. You can see it here. This is the picture, so you can read that picture. So that's just how it is. I'm going to go ahead and detach this. I do not want this attached anymore, so we'll go back. Now we're back, and I'm going to show you how to configure a shared access signature. We have two types of shared access signatures. We have the account level and the service level. So the account level basically is just here. You can just come here, you see the account level. You can just see the shared access signature, where this one gives you access to configure a SAS for either one or more resources that are inside here. We have the blob, file, queue, and table. You can choose to just go with one or multiple. So that's the account level SAS. It gives you the power to create permissions and time interval, and also help you to select what services you intend to allow. I'm going to show you another one here. We come to containers, and in the container, we can go ahead to like use an ad hoc SAS. So here in this SAS, which is service level SAS, you can come and create a SAS for just this container. You can generate a SAS for this container, and also we can go inside this container and generate a SAS for an individual blob. Let me show you that that's possible also. I will come back here just to show you the difference. So you can come here and check here, see generate SAS also. So, but this is not where we're headed. For now, we're going to go back to the account level SAS. So here I'm going to just focus with blobs. I won't do anything about tables and file shares. And I can choose to say that this should allow things from my service, the service itself, allow the container, and allow the object, just for this demonstration. And you can see if I tend to turn on queue, you would see there are some other permissions that I only have applied to a particular service. So if I turn off queue, you see this goes off. If I turn on table, update will come on too. So update needs that permission. So if for a blob, you have all these permissions: read, write, delete, list, add, create, immutable storage, permanent delete. And also you have blob versioning permissions. So you can enable make it possible for the user or the client to be able to delete versions of the files that they do upload or read. And with this one, allow blob index permission. So this allows you to filter and search using blob index tags. So you can read and also write index tags to blobs that you upload. And here we have start and expiry date. So you can set the time period where this permission is being allowed. You can choose the date and the time for the start, date and the time for the ending, the expiry, and you can choose your time zone. So if you say 11:38 p.m., so 11:38 p.m. in this time zone, that's what it means. And also you have your allowed IP addresses. Here you are allowed to input and add an IP address or range of IP addresses that will be able to use this. Now, if you put in an IP address here, it means that only that IP address can be given access using this SAS. But if you do not put anything, it just leaves it open for any IP address. So you should be aware of that. And then here, allow protocols, we have HTTPS and we have HTTPS and HTTP. So this only gives you the option to use a secure HTTP, that's HTTPS. So I always usually go through with this because this will allow an insecure connection. So if you have everything here, the next thing you see here, I'm going to focus on here is the signing key. So this is being signed using an encryption key. So you can see, you can choose either encryption key 1 or encryption key 2. So the SAS is signed using the SHA-256 algorithm, and then it's encoded using the base64 encoding. So I'm going to click on generate SAS and connection string, and then here we can see we have the connection string. Like before, we had the account key string. This is the SAS connection string, and here we have the SAS token itself, and this SAS token shows you the version of your SAS, and then it shows you the signed service, in this case blob. It shows you your permissions here. It shows you the scope, service, container, object. Like here, it contains all these permissions. The entire configuration is reflected in your SAS token. So your SAS token is going to reveal who is going to access this basically, and how long will they access this with the time you see here, and what permissions do they have. So this is the blob service SAS URL. So this means that whoever has this SAS can use it for the next 6 hours. The person can write the entire full permissions for a blob service. So I'm going to come here and copy this. So I'm going to move to our Storage Explorer to see how this works. But before then, I'm going to save this in an Excel sheet so we can come back to it. Why am I doing this? Because if you come back here, you would see that it doesn't save these URLs. This SAS token that is created is not saved. So if you create another one now, this previous one is gone, but you can't have access to it if you did not save it. But whoever has access, if you give it to someone, the person can still use it for the remainder of the time based on the constraint that has been set by the permission itself. So that's why I'm saving it there. I want to show you something because there is a need for us to learn to revoke SAS access that we give to people. So I'm going to come here to my Storage Explorer and we're going to attach a resource. And this time around, we're not bringing a container, no a file share, we're bringing a service. So we click here and then we go to shared access signature URL. So I'll just click on that and click on next, and I will just paste that. So this is a blob service URL, and it just automatically picks the storage account name, and I click on next. So I'm going to go ahead and click on connect. Once that hits, you'll see the blob containers in the storage account are also accessible here. So I'm able to do everything here in this storage account, just like before. So you can see everything that's in here. You can read, you can write, you can upload, you can create, you can add. So that's just basically it. Now I'm going to come back here to the storage account, to the portal, and this time around I want us to do something differently. I want us to give this create a new permission for this service. We're going to say, okay, you can't create, any of this is gone. Only thing we want you to do is to read. Now, for you to be able to use the Storage Explorer, even if you have just read as a permission, you need to add list so that person can be able to see the blobs or see the options that are available. So list is necessary apart from your read. So I'm going to just use that to generate a new SAS token. As you can see, it changed here. So I'm going to just come here and copy this time around. I'm copying this. I'll go to my Excel sheet, and this is just for read access. Okay, so I've done that. I pasted it right there, and then I will come to my Storage Explorer, and then in my Storage Explorer, I will come here and click on this, and I'm just going to detach this so I don't get you confused. I'm going to come here and detach this one. Remember I said since it's full access, you can do everything there. So here you can only read. So I'm going to come here and just detach this one, and then I'm going to mount a new one. So I'm going to delete this. You don't need this, guys. So I'll come here. This time around it's the same service, but the permissions have changed. So I'll use shared access signature. Next, I'll paste that here and click on next and connect. So our containers are right here also. So I click on down, I'll come to Paris, and then in Paris I can see the options. I can click on view. So here we have this picture. We just read this picture from our container in Paris, our Paris container. So I'm going to just close this, and then let's try to say we want to delete it. We don't want that. We want to delete it. So I'm going to come here and click on delete, and click on delete here. So you see, it failed to start delete, insufficient credentials. It's not allowed to do that. So this person can't do that. He can't write. Okay, if I want to try to upload something, so I'm going to say upload files. I'm going to come select here and say I want to come here and just click versioning. I want to upload this file called versioning and leave everything else as is. Click on upload. You'll see I don't have the sufficient credentials to do this. So you see it can only read. So here I will try to create a new blob service URL that allows you to create, like upload something. So I'm going to just add create row here, and even if you want to remove the read row, it would work, but I like to keep the read row because it just makes it move smoothly. So I'll come here and click on generate SAS connection string, and then I can copy this URL to my clipboard, bring it here and add the upload link there, and then bring back here. I'm going to detach this. So here I will go ahead and click on attach to a resource, and then choose a storage account or service, and come here and select SAS. Click on next. I will paste my SAS service URL, and then go ahead and click on next and connect. That's done. So right here we can see what we have here. I'm going to come to Singapore, and we're going to try to upload that versioning.txt file. I'll come here and click on upload files, and I'll just come down to select it, click on the file itself, and click on open and upload. So to say your credential does not authorize AZ copy to write blocks to destination blob. AZ copy will therefore attempt to write all the data in one block. So if the data is too large, you might have a failure. So do you want to proceed? I say yes, and then give it some time. So you can see that we have this right here. We can write. But if you come back to this portal, you see there's no place for you to, if you did not save it somewhere, you cannot have access to the previous ones you've created. And that's just how it is. It's gone. So that's why I had to save them here. But what happens? You will think that because you created this rule, this one here, it overrides the previous one. But that's not how it is. So let me show you something. I'm going to come back here. I will take the rule that says you can only read, and I will copy. I will come to my Storage Explorer and detach this. Okay, so I will close this. Now I'm going to attach the resource the same way and click on storage account or service, select my SAS, click on next, paste my URL, next, and connect. Good, boom, we're here. So I'm going to come and check again. This time around, let's go to Paris. I'm going to try and delete. So I'm going to come here and select these two things. I want to delete them right now. Remember, we have only read access, but the one we created last gave us access to upload. And let me just try upload. If I say delete, I mean it might not work because of the previous one. So let's use upload. Let's try and upload something. So I'm going to come here. There's no versioning here, so I'll just come here and choose versioning and click on upload. So you see, this rule is the insufficient credentials will not let me do that. So it means that we have 1, 2, 3 URLs out there, and you can't even recall if you did not save them. So how then do you prevent people from using this? You want to call it back. Maybe something happened and it's been exposed, it's been leaked, and you want to seek to mitigate a risk exposure. So what do you really do then? So remember, we signed the SAS is signed using the 256 algorithm as with the key, signed with the account key. So we have to come back here. What you can do is to regenerate your account key. But tricky thing is, if you have other services or other SaaS links that are, maybe one of them was exposed amongst these three, one of them was exposed, and you have other SaaS links people are using. Once you regenerate the SaaS key, the access key that was used to sign this SaaS, it will invalidate every other one, it will revoke every other person's access. If you had applications or clients who were linked to this key, it will do the same. So usually I would say maybe you can sign your access key with key 2 and so you leave key 1 for different things. It's segmentation, but that's how you're going to have to do it. You have to revoke that access by regenerating your access key. So if I come here and we're here now and I say I want to rotate, rotate means like I'm generating a new one. So if I come here, once I hit on this button, it wouldn't be able to work anymore. They're asking me the current key will be immediately invalid and is not recoverable. Do you want to regenerate access key 1? I say yes. So it's gone. Give it some time to propagate. It's done. I need to just show you that these links won't work. So I'll come here and click on this and copy and bring this to this storage account and this storage explorer, and I'll just try to attach it again. So same thing, SaaS URL, next. I will paste it here and click on next and click on connect. So you see what it says now. If you cannot resolve this issue or authentication error on your own, you may open an issue with the Storage Explorer GitHub site. So it's failed because it's automatically revoked the access. So it doesn't work anymore. So you see, I can't even see anything anymore. No data available. So it's out. That's one way to revoke access in case of a breach, leak. And this is for the account level SaaS. So if we were to go to our container level SaaS or service level SaaS, so I'll come here and say, if we're going to generate this, we would not be able to invalidate, just like I said before, except we go back and regenerate our key. But there's something called stored access policies. So stored access policies is a way that we can group up SaaS and then we can then use it to control our permission. So I'm going to just create a basic SaaS for this container and show you how this works. So we're going to come to Egypt and generate SaaS, click on generate SaaS. And the first thing I'm going to point out to you here is you would see a user delegation key. I wouldn't cover this in this demonstration until we'll talk about this in the subsequent video, but this is something that is only available to service level SaaS. It's not available with an account level SaaS. So it's just where you have to authorize access using your Entra ID credentials. So I'm going to keep that aside. So here you see you can sign with the key as usual. Then you see what they call stored access policies right here. So if you see none, because you've not created any, I'll leave it as is. And you see other permissions, you can just choose the permissions. They're not listed out like this. They're in a drop down, so you can choose what you want and your time and then the allowed IP addresses, then you can generate as usual. So I'm going to conclude this. And in this container, I'll go to access policy. In access policy, you see stored access policies. We want to add a policy. Now, similar to our SaaS policies, those what we have there, we just give it a name. Maybe I'll say this one is a read-only SaaS. Maybe it's a read-only SaaS, and then I'll say, okay, what permissions am I giving to this? You can only read. Now, I can say, okay, what day is this? What time frame do I have this? Is this access available? So from today till, let me say, till today. Let me give it 2 hours from now. Okay, no, this is 12 a.m. 2 p.m. So let me just change this to 2 p.m. 2 p.m. and that works, and then click on OK. So once you click on that, it says successfully added storage access policy. Please save the changes. For the longest time, I always fell into this trap of just leaving, thinking it's done. You have to come here and save it. When you save it, it's now updated, so you're good now. So we have one called read only. So now I'm going to come here and come to Egypt again and say, let us generate the SaaS. So while you're generating this SaaS now, you can click here. You see read only as one of them. Remember, you can set your permissions. I can come here and say create, maybe write, maybe full access. Maybe full access. and then I leave everything here. This one is done already. There's 12 p.m. from this to 8 p.m. Okay, there's the extended time frame. And immediately I just come here and put it under this stored access policy. You see, the permissions change automatically to match the stored access policy, which is read, and the time changes also to 2 p.m. It inherits the configuration from the stored access policy. And so I can just go ahead and generate the SAS, and that SAS is given to me. And you can use it to access anything that you want to access in the Storage Explorer like we did before. And copy this blob SAS URL. I'll bring it to our Storage Explorer and I'll just detach this one. Remember, I signed with the key. Now it's a new key, so this one doesn't have any problem. So I'm just going to come attach this. This time around, we're attaching a container. We're not attaching a blob service. It's a container. So I'll click on container, my SAS URL, click on next, and I will paste this Egypt one and then click on next and connect. So once that is done, we see our container is right here and we can only read, but you see that we cannot see what is available. Why? Because we did not add lists as a permission. So I'm going to show you that now. I explained it earlier, but it's good that it showed right now. So we're going to come back here and close this and come here and say, okay, access policy in this container, Egypt, and we're going to come here and we're going to edit this stored access policy. So I'm going to add list to this and click on OK. And then remember, save is updated. And then I will come back to, I'll close this one, come back to Egypt and, oh, I'm checking the boxes. So come here to Egypt and click on this and generate SAS. And remember, just the same thing, read only. This time around, we have two permissions added there. So generate the SAS and I will copy this. I will come to my Storage Explorer and I am going to detach this previous one. So just come here and where is it? Containers, detach all. So I'll just come here and okay, I'll close this and then click on attach resource, and then blob container, choose our SAS and click next. So it means whoever has access to this can only read what is in that container. So I'll go ahead and click next and click connect. So this time around, you see, we can see what's inside the container because we have the list permission added to the read. That's just what it is. So if you were to want to revoke access to this now, and you've given this SAS out to someone and you want to revoke this access, you could just take your expiry to a previous date, like a date that has already passed. Let me just say it that way. So I'll just come here. We have this access. It's still open. I'm going to copy it again and just paste it somewhere here. Let's just have it somewhere. And then I will come to, I'll close this and come to our access policy again. And then here I will edit this. So the time is, okay, so I could just come here and say, this is 12:40. So I will just change this to, let's just change this to 12 p.m. Okay, 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that's okay. And I'll come here and save it. Okay, so with that, we've been able to revoke that access. So if I come here to this storage account now and say I'm trying to, let me refresh this. You see, I can't see anything anymore. So it says server failed to authenticate the request. Make sure the value of authorization header is formed. Like it failed because like I've revoked the access. So that's the beauty of stored access policies. It's just amazing. You can just easily revoke access to a SAS using that. And also you can extend access. Maybe you gave access to someone and that time has elapsed, or maybe for a continued service, you need to just be extending it and monitor it as that happens. You can just go there and extend it at once. You could have multiple SAS generated and linked to that stored access policy. So you see this one. There is no stored access policy on this container. Yeah, it's only on this container that we have a stored access policy. So if I come here now, I just want to generate this. I'm showing that it doesn't flow over to the other container. So it's right here. So that is just it. You can't see it in another container unless you create a stored access policy on that container. So there is one limitation to stored access policies. Now, the stored access policies could be as many as possible but for each container, each queue, each table, it has to be just five. There's a maximum of five, and you cannot exceed that amount. So I could create multiple. I could come here and say maybe I'm creating another stored access policy, and maybe call this one full access. Okay. And maybe all of them will be checked. And then I put the time of day now, and then same day, and let's just say PM. Okay, that works. And just click on OK. So I'm saying you can have a maximum of five of this only, and nothing more. And if you go to the next container, you can have another five. So it's per container. So that's just how it is. In the previous example, I had to generate a new SAS URL because we do not have the list permission. But the beauty of stored access policies is that we don't really need to generate new SAS URLs. So assuming you sent out a URL to someone and you needed to manage the permissions from your stored access policies, you can do that without having to reach out to them entirely. So here we can continue with a full access. We have read, write, add, all the 6 permissions here turned on. So I'm going to go and generate a new SAS URL, and I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to close this, and then we'll come here to Egypt container and then generate a new SAS. So with this SAS, I would use the full access stored access policy. So just come here and click on full access. So this is it. The SAS immediately inherits the permissions from the stored access policy. So I can just generate the SAS and copy the SAS URL. We're going to take this to our Storage Explorer, and then I'm going to show you. So here I'm going to attach this. I'm going to just click on attach, and then container, SAS URL, next, and then paste our URL here and click on next and connect. Immediately we have our Egypt container here. So we have full control. So we could upload, we could delete, we could do anything in here. So let me just show you. I could come here and open up this versioning.txt file, and I can edit this. I can come here and say, okay, this is versioning 3, and I can save it. So close this, and it will prompt me. I just want to upload this. I don't want to ignore. And yes, I want this to be uploaded, and it's doing that. That's sorted. So now with the permissions, we have full access to delete and do everything. But I'm going to just leave it here and go back to our stored access policy and remove the delete permission from it. And so that way we wouldn't be able to delete. So I'm going to delete one just to show you that it works. I'm going to click on delete here and click on delete. So you see, this is done. It's deleted. We have just two blobs in this container. Let's go over to the Azure portal. So here in the Azure portal, we're going to come and edit our permissions for that stored access policy. So I'll come here to Egypt and come to access policies, and then edit this. Click on this and then edit. So now I want to revoke the permission of delete from this SAS, and you shouldn't be able to delete again. Let's just do delete, and that's all. And we can click on OK. And then remember, we save this. So it will take about 30 seconds for this to happen. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Now let's head back to our Storage Explorer. So we're here in the Storage Explorer. I'm going to refresh, and then we'll try to delete it again. So this is the same URL. So we just come here and click on delete again and see what happens. So you see, the permission has been revoked, so we cannot delete anymore. So you see, we could not delete this because that permission has been turned off on the stored access policy. So we cannot do that. And that's the same URL that was given earlier. So you don't need to issue out new URLs. This is just the power of stored access policies. It's just amazing. So I'm going to head back to the portal now. So we're going to go ahead and go to access policies just to show you again. This is just it. We can go ahead and edit again and do whatever we want to do, but I'm not going to do that now. but it helps you revoke access, and it helps you just have a central space where you can manage all your set access policies that way from that container. Well, if you were to have, I'm just going to show you one thing now. If we had maybe this file here, and we want to generate a SAS for this, so you can easily just view this. You can just say, okay, I'm generating a SAS for me to read, and okay, I'm going to just quickly leave everything as is and just generate a quick one and copy this. With this, you can just, this is a single blob itself, you can just view it from your browser tab. So that's it. That's the picture there that is in that container. So thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a thing or two about storage access and shared access signatures. And the next video, I will show you how to use user delegation keys for SAS. So take care of yourself. Catch you in the next video.